people have been leaving Canada. And the question is, why have everybody been leaving? Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I will be talking about why exactly are everyone leaving Canada. If you stay until the end of the video, you will also get to hear why exactly are immigrants staying in Canada. So the first reason why immigrants are leaving Canada is because of the high taxes. Taxes are both federal and provincial taxes. When you think about taxes here, taxes ranges from about 15% to 33% of your income. And then when you were to add that amount to the amount for the provincial taxes, it reaches approximately 46% of your income is being taxed for persons who make like $200,000 per month. So what that means for you is that taxes will be very, very expensive because taxes starts from 15% federally, which means you have a guaranteed 15% that you will have to pay. The lowest amount of taxes in Canada is 5%. There was a particular person who said to me that the reason why they are not staying in Canada is because of the high taxes. They said if they were to return to their home country, they will not have any taxes. That is one of the biggest things that have been causing persons to leave Canada, because of the high taxes. The second reason is because of healthcare. Healthcare in Canada has very, very long waiting times. If you were to go to the hospital today, you probably have to wait 12 to 24 hours before you will get served at a hospital. And this is in the emergency room. If we were to think about, let's say you need to get a surgery, then what you would realize is that for that surgery, you have to wait approximately 1 year sometimes before you finally get the surgery that you need. So let's say you are in pain and you need surgery, you have to be waiting for 24 hours before you finally get medical care in Canada. The third reason why immigrants are leaving Canada is because of the high cost of living. Now I'm going to do an entire video where I talk about how much is the minimum wage and whether or not someone can actually live off minimum wage in Canada. Now one of the biggest questions that I usually get about minimum wage and about cost of living in Canada is that there are many persons who have children, but they always wonder, can you survive in Canada with a child with the current minimum wage? And the answer to that is that it really depends. It really depends on the person. It depends on what you want to purchase for your child. It depends on your skills. For example, if you are someone who was an engineer back in your home country, you can come to Canada, work as an engineer, and you get an engineering job, then you would be able to afford childcare. However, you find it extremely expensive if you are just making minimum wage. It really depends. When it comes to coming to Canada with a child, the next thing you have to think about as well is whether or not you are coming by yourself or you're coming with a spouse. A lot of these things really makes a difference on whether or not it is easy or very difficult for you to survive in Canada. It also depends on how much support you have, and it also depends on whether you come here as a student, you come here as a worker, what exactly are you coming to Canada as? Because if you come here as a student and you need to pay the tuition and you don't have the tuition fee, it can be very, very difficult for someone who has a child. So one of the things about Canada is that people consider Canada as being very boring. The reason why they consider Canada as being very boring is because Canada is extremely cold. And the most difficult part of it is that it is cold 10 months out of the year. Now, as you can see, it is very bright out here, and that is because it is actually in July. There isn't a lot that you can do while you are in Canada. When you are here during the winters, 10 months out of the year, it is very dark, it is very gloomy, and when you think about activities, there isn't much that you can do in the winter, which is the 3 months. And then outside of that, when you think about spring and fall, it is still very cold. And when you think about what can I do during this time, there isn't a lot that you can do. You are limited to just a small amount of activities, and then 2 months out of the year is when it's summer and it's bright, and that is when you can really have fun. So because of that, people consider Canada very boring. The fifth reason is because of the mental health issues that happen during the winter. The sixth reason is because many people are homesick in Canada. They miss their home because many people travel to Canada and they travel here without any family member. The next one is racism. When it comes to racism in Canada, many people think that it doesn't exist, but the honest truth is that racism is here, and racism is a difficult part of Canada because if you do not have the ability to deal with something like this, it can be very difficult for you. I remember someone who said he doesn't want to deal with these people because of the exact thing about racism. He's like, no, I don't want to deal with these people. I am going back home to my home country. The next reason why people do not like staying in Canada and they leave Canada is because of the minimum wage. Minimum wage jobs in Canada are the type of jobs that people get when they first come to Canada, and it really doesn't matter what type of job you initially did in your home country because they do not consider your home country work experience at all. Honestly, when it comes to minimum wage in Canada, many people find it difficult to live off minimum wage. And when we're to think about certain cities, it is very, very difficult because the minimum wage is not enough because of the high cost of living, especially for the rent. However, one of the things that I've said previously is that if you want to reduce your rent, all you need to do is to share with someone. Get a 2-bedroom apartment and one stay in one room, one stay in next room. If it was $1,800 for that room, then it's $900 each, and that is how you can save in that regard. Now, in general, the biggest thing is that when it comes to minimum wage, no one wants to come to Canada after they were in their big government jobs, come to Canada and then afterwards come and work a minimum wage job. So because of that, when people cannot get any job in their field, the problem is they decide to leave. And that is actually the #1 reason why people leave Canada. Now, I did say if you stay to the end of the video, I would tell you why people stay in Canada. And the biggest reason why people stay in Canada despite all of these issues is that when you weigh the pros and the cons, you will realize that the pros definitely outweigh the cons, and that is why I am able to do so many videos where I tell you about how I've been able to pay my own tuition, which I'll link down below. I'll also link it right here. I've able to tell you about how I've been able to save in Canada. I told you about free monies in Canada. I've told you about the benefits in Canada. That's because there are many advantages of being in Canada despite all the disadvantages of being here. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you found it helpful. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.